What is up, legends? Super excited to tell you a little bit about the Envio prizes in the ETHOnline 2024 hackathon. I'll go through the prizes a bit. I'll go through actually using the products and how you can get the prizes. So hopefully it's super informative. And just a couple epic details to start off with. Obviously, there's this nice prize pool. There's so many details on the website you can go visit, but we're also super responsive and excited to help you build. So if you come join the Discord, which is great over there, if you check our site, our docs, we're more than happy to help, right? Quick high level, what is Envio? As you can see, it's the fastest, most flexible way to get on-chain data. And there'll be two main pieces we talk about: HyperIndex, HyperSync, and how you can win prizes for both. But if we have a quick look at Envio over here, you can see more about HyperIndex, you can see more about HyperSync. There's a lot more stuff we'll go through. So yeah, very quickly to start off with, HyperIndex. This is a blazingly fast blockchain indexer, but it's also a multi-chain indexer, and we'll get onto how you might want to use it. But generally, if you're building some kind of dApp, some kind of smart contract that you're deploying, people are going to be interacting with them, and when they interact with them, you're going to want to have a way to take this interaction data, make it meaningful, and show it on your website, right? You might want a leaderboard of the people who've interacted with your smart contract the most, or how much they've deposited, how much they've withdrawn, all of those kinds of things. So you can see here what is the best use of HyperIndex. We have this prize over here, which is really nice. And just to show you a little bit more about HyperIndex, that's what we're going to jump into right now. So let's start off with that, right? So I'm going to actually start off by showing you what it looks like in the hosted service and expand upon what I meant. So if I hit this Explorer button over here, real nifty, you can see there's lots of protocols that have deployed Envio Explorers, some Gnosis ones, some Scope ones, some Sablier. I'm going to go into this Sablier one. You can see in this production Sablier deployment from about a month ago, they have processed 335,000 events across all of these different chains. And just in case you don't know what an event is, I think it should be pretty obvious, and you probably do know that, but let's find some, I don't know, let's find some random thing over here. Let me find what's a good one? Eigen layer. Let's take a random contract, right? Eigenlayer strategy manager. You see events, and when people do stuff like they call this deposit into strategy method, then events like deposit, which show you who is the staker, what's the token, what's the strategy, what's the number of shares. This information is very useful, and it gets emitted. And what's happening in the indexer here is it's processing all of these events across multiple chains, and the indexer takes this event, and you define some logic that when this event happens, I want to save it, I want to transform it, and then the result is you get this really nice GraphQL API where you can make some kind of query and say, I want the tranches, and I want the amount, end amount, time, ID, position. I want all of these things. And your front end can essentially make these really nice structured queries and get data about your users or about anything like that. So that's kind of the 101 on indexing and why it's important and why it's nice. And what's nice here is you can see you can index across multiple chains, and you can do it really fast. Normally to go through 12 different chains and sync hundreds of millions of blocks would take months, and this took 27 minutes. So that's a really nice part about Envio. It's really, really fast. So without further ado, let me actually show you more about how to get started and do this yourself and how it works. And I'll just show you, here's the repo. Go give it a star, smash a star, would appreciate that. You can dig in a bit more if you want and see what's actually going on the code here. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a terminal. Give me a second to bring that across. I'm gonna just make directory demo, make directory demo 2. I know you can't see my screen right now, but that's fine. Cool. I'm gonna do this. I'm guessing you can all see this, which is great. And you can see right now I'm in a completely empty directory. And what I want to do is I want to index something. So we've talked about it. We have some protocol that we've deployed, and I want to index all the events and query information from it. So the quickest way to get started is first you want to quickly check the docs. It's very simple how to what you need to install. Node npm docker. I have all of that installed. Also have Envio installed, so go install those bad boys. Super easy. There's also this no code quick start guide over here. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this contract address of the events I want to index over here, like the deposit events. All you'll need to do is run this envio init command. I'm going to call this eigenlayer indexer. I'm going to start here. I'm going to say TypeScript. We're going to do EVM. I'm going to say contract import from the block explorer, Ethereum mainnet, and this is the address. And it wants a valid API key. This is very sad because it normally tries without the API key. So what I'm actually going to do, which is a little bit cheeky, is I'm going to use a network like Optimism. So what happens is you need to provide a little API key to fetch it from the API, but this is so far only on mainnet. It's actually much easier to get it on Optimism, and it's something we're improving as well. So on Optimism, let's say we want to go for indexing, what about the OP token? This is the Optimism token right here, right? And there's all these events. You transferring the token, this or that. This is a super busy contract. I'm going to copy this address. So now if I say envio init, Optimism token indexer, yes, TypeScript, EVM, contract import, and from the Optimism block explorer, where we don't yet need as strict of a key, I'm going to put this contract address in, and there we go. You can see that's super nice. It goes and grabs all the events for us. So yeah, on mainnet we'll have that improved soon, but for now you have to put in your own API key. The public API keys work a bit easier for some of the smaller, or let us say other networks, not that Optimism small. And let's just say I only care about maybe the transfer event. That's the only one that interests me. I can then add new contracts, do a whole bunch of awesome things, or just say I'm finished, and I'll skip for now. I won't add a token. What's happening is it's auto-generating an indexer for us. That's extremely nice. And what I'm actually going to do is just in case I actually already had an indexer running somewhere else on my local computer, because I do a lot of indexing, I'm just going to say npm envio stop. You won't need to do this. You likely won't already have one running. That's just because I have one running. But if I now run npm envio dev, actually before that, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to open up this code of what we've generated just so I can show you in a second. So I'll show you the code I've generated now. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to now say npm envio dev, and it's going to actually create and start indexing. So I'll show you what we can do with that now in a second. But you'll see just like that, it's already scanned through the first 9 million blocks, and it's already processed 10,000, 15,000 events. It's going to keep smashing up. If my internet was better, that would go even sooner. But yeah, we've already indexed more than 9 million blocks, and we are extremely quickly going through and indexing thousands and thousands of events. And if you know much about indexing, you'll know that that's extremely quick. Right, so just to show you a little bit about actually what the code has done and what it's generated, there's 3 main parts. This was all just generated brand new by the envio init command, by the way. It's super easy to get started. Your config defines kind of what data you want to suck. We want to suck it from optimism, from this specific address, and this is the transfer event I was talking about that we wanted. Very, very nice. Your schema tells you how you want to store the data, what it looks like. You can think of this as kind of your table, and it's very simple. And then this event handler tells you what transformations must I do when I receive this event. So every time there's a transfer event on this OP token, all we're basically doing is grabbing the information, like the from parameter from the event, the to parameter, and we basically just saving it, right? Again, you can see we've indexed more than 240,000 events. The password is just testing over here. And now what we can do is we can see all of this data. Maybe just plus over here. All of these transfers, we can see there are tons of transfers over here. We can see from, to, the value, just like that. And this API, this is what you might be interested in your front end. You might want to make a query and say, give me the biggest transfers. So you might say, I want the 10 biggest transfers. Let me first get rid of this part over here. Give me 10 transfers where value, sorry, and let's not use a where. We're going to say order by value descending. So we want the biggest ones, and we want the value. We want who is it from, who is it to, and what's the ID. And bang, just like that, we're going to see, wow, okay, the biggest transfer we've seen so far is from this 0 address, and it's 429 quintillion, 4 trillion, mabashmo billion over there, which is quite a big number. And you have all of these cool things. So you could have a little application that does a leaderboard of the biggest OP transfers and who's transferring from who to who. And this is just indexing, and it's smashing along, which is really, really nice. So what you can also do, I just want to show you quick. I'm going to stop this. You can say something like NVO init. You might be developing locally. So what you might do is you might say, I want to use a local ABI. And here, once you've compiled your smart contracts, you just put my local ABI, and it will generate an indexer for you. Very, very nice. So that's going to get you started. And again, you got this golden trifecta of the schema, the event handlers, and the config. And that's going to get you going. And lightning fast, you're going to index. And remember, your best friend is the docs over here, the V2 docs. There's more videos over here. There's a lot more information. There's some tutorials. There's some guides. There's all the good stuff. So go ahead and smash this. And that takes us back to best use of HyperIndex. There's more things like best run-up of HyperIndex, most creative application of NVO's features. So you can think of lots of ways to use HyperIndex, which is really, really nice. As we saw, all of this information is indexed to this very nice database that you can then do a bunch of different things on, which is interesting. You can hit it like an API. You can deploy it to the hosted service over here, so it's hosted on NVO, and make your queries from the endpoint, which is amazing. You can see all of the logs. You can go check out some of the other ones for inspiration and check the repos. So check that out. There's tons to do there. Again, this prize fits really nicely. You can do this prize while also trying to hit all the other prizes in the competition, which is monster. This can just be part of your tech stack, which is really, really nice. Super fast, scales well. So that's a nice one. Also, if you wanted to do some kind of analytics visualization project, look at information across multiple types of chains, maybe you're doing like a bridge explorer. There's just so much you can do with access to super fast on-chain information. Remember, all of these events on any of the contracts, you're absolutely sucking them up, and you can do some very interesting analysis. Again, we support more than 45 EVM chains, so there's a lot of options for you. So that's best use of HyperIndex. It's a lot of fun. Go play around with it. And yeah, last thing I said, as I mentioned, in these event handlers, this is very simple, but you could just write some cool code over here if you wanted that did specific things, like every time a user deposited, you did something, you can change this. Like it's made to be very flexible. This boilerplate just helps you get started, which is super nice. Okay, let's cruise along to best use of hypersync. And hypersync is actually used very heavily by HyperIndex. If you wondered how we were absolutely steaming along and getting so many events so quickly from all these different chains, it's because we are using hypersync, which is a really, really powerful Rust data node, and it allows you to access historical data, transactions, logs, blocks, traces really, really quick. And we have a few different clients. We have clients, here's the hypersync docs, by the way, where you can learn more about it. But we have clients in Node.js, in Python, and in Rust, and there's even actually a community one in Go. And there's examples in all of these, so you can go check out the examples and see what you can actually do. But I'm going to start off by showing you actually just something I've built with hypersync. And this, for example, would be, who knows, maybe a contender for this if you built something like this. I mean, I've already built it now, but I'm sure you'll think of many other cool ideas. And this was also in a hackathon I built this. It's called chain density, and I think it's pretty cool. It lets you choose from all the networks hypersync supports, and it lets you figure out something called the chain density. So you might want to know of all of these events, which blocks were they emitted, and it's interesting to sometimes know what the distribution of on-chain activity looks like for an address. So I think maybe it's just going to be easier for me to show you what I mean. Let's pick a random address. This one's got 7 transactions. I might want to see, okay, what are the transactions over the entire optimism chain? What does it look like for this address? Like, where's it interacting? And I just put in this address. I say I want the transaction density, and I want to say it's for optimism. Optimism's there. I hit submit, and in 0.13 seconds it's scanned all 124 million blocks, and it's showed where the transactions have happened, at what block number. That's quite interesting. So yeah, we've scanned, that's nearly a rate actually of 1 billion blocks per second. So that's really nice. Let's choose something that's a bit more interesting. Maybe this eigenlayer manager one over here. Or what's another eigenlayer one? Eigenlayer. What about rest strategies? Is this emitting any events? Is it interesting? Oh, it's not actually emitting that many events. Eigenlayer. What about community multisig? What about slasher? Let's see when things are being slashed on eigenlayer. Oh, not super often. Okay, I want to find an interesting one for you. Eigenlayer. Eigen pod manager. This must be interesting. Okay, there's some more things happening in the eigen pod shares, pod deployed. Quite a lot of stuff's happening in here. Let's maybe click this and let's see what the events look like in the eigen pod manager. I hit submit. It's going to scan the entire Ethereum chain, and it's going to get all the events that are emitted from this address. And very quickly you can see, oh, this is what's happened. Okay, there's starting to be a bit more activity. Another cool one. Let's do like a Blur Marketplace. Blur Marketplace 2. You can see there's a ton of events happening here in Blur Marketplace 2. I'm going to hit this. Let's go back here. This would take you, quite frankly, forever if you were going to use the RPC, and that's why using hypersync's really cool. Oh, check, we can see it's obviously stuff stopped happening at block 16 million, but you saw an increase in activity, more than 40,000 events processed. That's very nice. Okay, so this is hypersync. Let me show you what it actually looks like. Again, remember, we have these clients for you to interact with it. I'm going to find this piece of code over here, and basically I'll show you this repo. This repo you can come check out. As I said, there's tons more examples over here. If you come to the docs, this is quite a cool example. EVM address summary. It basically, you give it an address and it's going to fetch all the token transfers, all the ERC20 transactions, all the ERC721 transactions. It's going to just fetch anything, everything. This one is in the Node.js client. You can define this query structure. It's super flexible. From block, what logs, transactions, traces you want. It's not so daunting. Don't worry about this. And then you can say what stuff you want back. We want these logs, these transactions, these traces. So it's quite simple to define your query. You can come look more at the docs over here, how to define your query. It's very powerful. You define your network, which is nice. And then we just do some math here. You can do that in Python. You can do whatever you want. And I'm just going to run it to go ahead and show you how it actually works. So if I do pnpm all transfers, that's how the script works, and you just give it an address. It's going to scan the entire chain, and there you go. You can see it scanned 20 million blocks in 2.4 seconds, and it found that this address has 3 transactions in, 9 transactions out, and it's got ERC20 transactions for this. And just to show you that this makes sense, let's go pick another random address. Okay, this one's only got like 10 transactions. Let's pick this address. It's great. I'm going to grab this address, and again, let's say pnpm all transfers. I'm going to paste this address. It's going to scan the entire Ethereum chain, and in 2 seconds it found, okay, there's 4 transactions in, there's 6 transactions out. This is its balance, and you can see there was no ERC20 transactions in this one. So yeah, that's a little bit of the magic of Hypersync. Definitely go ahead and check it out. Again, there's a video over here. It shows how we do stuff like extract a whole lot of Uniswap events, how we scan 200 million blocks in Arbitrum and decode all the pool log created events. There's really a lot you can do here. It's very, very flexible, and if you want to do any kind of data science related project, this is going to be, yeah, really, really special for you. So go check that out. There's also just special mention, you can make pull requests, which are super easy as well. Like, I want to get all the transactions to and from an address. You can stick this in your terminal and make the request, and you'll see you'll get a lot of things, which is nice. So yeah, Hypersync, what is the best use? Build something crazy. This was an example of like a cool tool I built using Hypersync, where for addresses you want to see its activity over time. You know, maybe you want to see something like I don't know, Bored Ape Yacht Club. What does the activity look like of Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? This could be interesting. You know, this was a cool NFT. Let's check that. Maybe we say transaction density, or let's say event density. We hit submit, and bang, there you go. You can see, oh, it went up and it's been trending pretty downwards on chain. So yeah, this is an example of a cool tool built with Hypersync. And there's many more cool tools you can build. So the sky is the limit. There's epic things. I want to show you something else that's been built partly using Hypersync. This is Scope. It's a really cool explorer focused on account abstraction, and yeah, a lot of the data is all coming from Hypersync as well, and the client and the indexer. So just shows you can build really cool stuff using Hypersync that's super performant, got lots of rich data. Yeah, so that's another cool example I wanted to show you. And if you want ideas, come hang out in the Discord and we can tell you stuff. So yeah, there's lots of options for you to use HyperIndex, Indexer, or Hypersync. There's the best overall project. There's the most creative use of the features. There's the best runner-up after these two best use cases. So there's really a good variety of prizes. It's good, fun technology that's really performant and cutting edge with good documentation and really good developer help. So yeah, we'd be super pumped for you to build on it, and really excited to chat with you. So come also hit the website, check the Explorer, see more about hypersync docs, look at the blog if you want to see some cool use cases of how people use it. And most important, remember to drink some water, touch grass, stay healthy, have a good hack. Remember to have some orange juice on the side and some good snacks to keep the brain functioning. It's a long hack, so have fun, take it easy, and come hang out in the Discord. We'll see you guys soon. Massively excited for you to build using Envio, and that's it. I'll leave it there.